Fun fact about Tess, she's back from spending some dark, dreary days in Sweden for the holidays. There, she's researching Swedish folk tales to share in order to improve her storytelling skills. But today, you're not going to hear anything about gnomes or trolls. Instead, she's going to tell a story about a magician and a beautiful maiden and the importance of good deeds. This is her Project 1 in the Advanced Communicator Bronze, and the title is The Magician's Cape. The time is 7 to 10 minutes, and her objectives are to tell a folktale that is both entertaining and enjoyable for a specific age group, and to use vivid imagery to enhance the tale. Please welcome Tess.
We're all young at heart, aren't we? There once was a magician who lived in a splendid castle on top of a mountain. By his castle, he had the most beautiful garden with a lot of delicious fruit and grapes and wines. In this garden, he would lie on a couch and watch and listen to beautiful young girls dancing and singing for him. But the girls were not happy because they had been kidnapped from their parents by the evil magician. When the evil magician wanted a girl to come dance and sing for him, he would don a black cape, put honey on his lips so that he would talk sweetly, and the cape would transform into giant wings, so he would fly down to the village and search for a girl. When he saw a girl that he liked, he would take his cape and put it down in front of her feet, just like a knight would do, a noble knight would do to a beautiful young maiden. So this evil magician was out looking for a girl again, and he flew into a village, and he saw the smith's daughter. And her face was so serene and her eyes shone so bright and pure that everybody liked her, and so did the magician. So when this young girl went out to the forest to pick some berries, he followed her and ran ahead and threw his cape down in front of her on the forest path and said, "Beautiful girl, beautiful young maiden, please step on this cape instead of ruining your delicate feet on the stony forest floor here." And the young maiden was startled at first, but then she laughed and said, "I am no beautiful young maiden, and you should take better care of your cape or it will get ruined here on the forest floor." She picked it up and shook it up and gave it back to the magician and said, "Now don't do that again or you will ruin your beautiful cape." And she went off. The magician was intrigued and he really wanted this girl to come back to the castle. So he followed her and used a little magic. So he made a ram chase her, so she started running. When she ran, she tripped on a big root, and the magician took his cape, swooped it down in front of her so she would fall on the cape. But instead she fell to the side, and the cape got a big tear in it from that root. The girl felt a little guilty because she felt she was the one that caused this big tear in the cape, so she offered to mend it. And she took a thorn from a rose bush and took another thorn and pricked a hole in it to make a needle. Then she took a long golden strand from her beautiful hair and used it as a thread. And she mended the cape with this. When she gave it back to the magician, it was beautifully mended, but the magician really wanted this girl, so he said, "Oh, I think it needs a few more stitches there." When the girl grabbed the cape, to do what the magician said, he quickly put it down and started dragging it away. And without thinking, this beautiful girl stepped on it to stop it. And with an evil laugh, the magician swooped the cape up and started to fly away with the young girl. "Help, help!" cried the girl. Alvida was her name. And as if the cry for help was heard, the golden thread from her hair got caught in a high branch in a tree. And no matter how the magician tried, he could not get it to loosen. So he had to let Alvida, the girl, go so that he could untangle the cape. Alvida quickly jumped down from the tree and ran back home as fast as she could. The magician was furious and flew back to his castle to think about this. When he wanted to go to sleep that night, he noticed that the room was unusually bright. And the light came from the cape. It came from the golden thread in the cape that had mended the cape. And it shone so bright and light against the black cape, just like a good deed shines against an evil deed. The magician tried to fold it up so that the thread would not show, but it still shone through the cape. Then he tried to tear out the thread or cut out the thread, but it was impossible. Then he tried to put the cape down in the darkest, deepest cellar in his castle, but the thread shone so bright that it shone through the walls and through the floors. And the magician soon realized that he would not be able to sleep with this thread in the cape. So he decided to fly back to Alvida, the young girl, and he knocked on her window. "Open the window," he said. But Alvida saw who it was and didn't open the window. "Now listen up, young girl. You better open this window. Your yellow, evil thread hair is shining so bright that I cannot sleep, and you better remove it right away or you will be sorry." But Alvida wasn't afraid because she knew that magicians and trolls cannot force their way into Christian homes. Then he started to try and beg her, "Please, please, young girl, can't you remove this thread so I can sleep at night? It shines so bright." But Alvida didn't listen. Then he started to bribe her. "I will give you a sack of gold if you remove this thread. I will give you farmland. Please remove this thread." But Alvida didn't listen. And then he decided maybe if he would give her something so she would feel appreciative and thankful, maybe she would remove the thread. So he flew back to the castle and picked as much delicious fruit that he could hold in his hands and flew and decorated her outside her window with the fruit. That night when he flew back to the castle, the light from the thread was dimmed enough that he could sleep. And the next morning when Alvida woke up, she noticed all the delicious fruit, but instead of eating it herself or using it, she gave it away to poor people and beggars that passed her house. Every day she gave the fruit away. Every morning the magician had put more fruit around her window. After a while, the magician came back to Alvida and knocked on her door and said, "Listen, young girl, I have been giving you all this delicious fruit from my garden because it dims the light from your thread so I can sleep. But won't you now take this thread away so I can sleep at peace at night and don't have to fly back and forth?" But Alvida didn't open. She didn't say anything. She thought the thread was perfectly fine where it was. And this magician, who only wanted to do evil, every night he had to fly and give a lot of fruit and help the poor and hungry. And if he ever tried to kidnap a young girl again, the thread shone so blindingly bright that he immediately had to return this girl back to the village. Thank you.